Um, you walk into one of those ultra-modern sports bars or like a high-tech corporate boardroom, and the whole illusion really relies entirely on what you do not see.
Oh, yeah, like the screen switch sources and the lights dim.
Exactly. The shades drop. It feels like magic.
Huh.
But today, for our deep dive, we are looking at a specific source from HDTVSupply about the QSC QIO-LVR4 Q-SYS expander.
Which is, a very long name for a $560
Yeah,
box.
it really is. But our mission today is to decode this seemingly niche piece of hardware, because understanding this box is basically the skeleton key to grasping a massive architectural shift in how these automated environments are being built right now.
Absolutely. Because anyone who has actually built one of those rooms knows the reality. Making a space respond that effortlessly traditionally requires a terrifying amount of hidden physical chaos.
Okay, let's unpack this because, traditionally the AV closet is just this massive heavy metal rack, right?
Oh, yeah. With a total rat's nest of cables just spilling out the back.
Mhm.
Historically, every single device in the building required a dedicated physical wire running all the way back to that one central processing brain.
Right, it's like a totally centralized, almost totalitarian system.
Yeah.
Every single tiny decision, like turning on a light bulb or dropping a screen, has to be routed through a physical cable all the way back to the Capitol.
Which is incredibly inefficient when you're pulling, hundreds of feet of copper through walls just to trigger a simple relay. But the QIO-LVR4 fundamentally changes that architecture.
Wow, really? How so?
Well, it decouples the physical input and output connections from the actual processing hardware.
Oh, I get it. So it's kind of like transitioning from a clunky old desktop computer where every single accessory has to plug directly into the tower
Right.
and moving to a flexible smart home setup where you just like place a small wireless hub exactly where you need it.
Yeah, that's a perfect analogy. And what's fascinating here is how this modular approach specifically complements the newer QSYS core models. I'm talking about units like the Core Nano or the Core 8 Flex.
Wait, aren't those the ones intentionally built with like
Wow.
very few onboard ports?
Yes, exactly. The designers want you to keep the heavy processing power in the server rack, but drop these small QIO expanders out in the physical room, right where the action is actually happening.
Ah, so the central brain just sends a digital memo over the network to a local manager, the QIO-LVR4, and that manager actually flips the physical switch.
Precisely. They communicate seamlessly over the building's existing standard IT network.
But okay, here's where it gets really interesting, because moving the brain to the network creates a new physical problem. How does a purely digital network actually talk to a dumb mechanical window shade?
That is the exact depth this device bridges. So LVR4 stands for 4 low-voltage relays.
Okay, so they aren't sending data packets to advanced computers then.
No, not at all. They are mechanically closing a circuit. You are taking a highly advanced digital network command and translating it into a physical analog action.
Like triggering an old school motorized projector screen.
Exactly, or just a basic environmental system.
And doing it without having to call an electrician, right? Because this is running on standard IT protocols.
Yeah, that's the brilliance of it. An IT installer doesn't need to hire an electrician to wire a high-voltage wall outlet up in the ceiling just to automate a screen.
You just power the expander using power over Ethernet, right?
Take it.
KOE.
You got it. The single network cable provides both the data and the juice. It is an incredibly simple single cable setup.
Which saves so much future clutter. But wait, what if you have a cluster of legacy analog gear in one area? Do you have to run a bunch of cables?
No. And the networking scalability is where the design really shows its intelligence. You don't need to rain 4 separate network drops back to your switch.
Oh, wow. You just daisy chain them.
Exactly. You can daisy chain up to 4 of these LVR4 units together on a single network run if you use local DC power.
So you're preserving your valuable network switch ports while still expanding your physical footprint in the room. It basically turns the physical building into a plug-and-play environment.
That's the core philosophy of this entire shift.
So what does this all mean? For you listening, this device isn't just about relays. It is about a scalable, flexible architecture that places control exactly where it's needed while, totally eliminating rack clutter.
Right. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, smart architectural design anticipates future expansion without needing to pull new cables.
Yeah, like if you want to add new automated shades or integrate an older lighting system later, you don't have to rip open the walls.
Nope. You just tap into the nearest network drop, add an expander, and tell the central core it's there.
Which keeps the magic trick looking completely effortless. even as the scale of the room grows.
Ah,
But, bridging that gap between the digital and the mechanical does leave us with a pretty serious blind spot to consider.
oh, definitely. Bringing physical hardware online changes everything.
Right, so think about this. As we use devices like the QIO-LVR4 to bring historically dumb analog systems, things like physical window shades and basic lighting onto our digital IT networks, how might that fundamentally change our approach to cybersecurity?
That is a very real concern.
I mean, if the mechanical window shades are suddenly on the network, who else can pull the strings? It's something to think about.